we can see inside the pot.
Very close.
Okay, thank you for your assistance. So now I want to continue to stir and get rid of all of these lumps, all right? Well, all of those lumps, we don't want any lumps, and I'm going to cook this for 2 minutes. So, Erwin's using my phone to video while we're doing this, and so I can't really set the timer on the phone. So we'll just have to estimate 2 minutes. All right, as you can see, our butter and flour have been cooking. I've been stirring it for 2 minutes. Erwin's been helping me. And now we're going to add in our milk. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up just a little bit because we have to bring that to a boil. And we want the milk to come to a boil. And we're going to switch from the wooden spoon to the whisk. All right, so. Alright, Erwin, can you see inside? You see all the bubbles forming inside the pot? Now we're going to add the milk. And I'm stirring vigorously. We want to pour in all the milk and continue to stir. I'm going to get the next cup of milk. Remember the milk, I warmed it up inside the microwave. I'm going to add all of that, and I'm going to continue to stir. I have to cook it, and this is going to have to cook for several minutes to thicken. So I have to keep stirring it vigorously. It's going to have to come to a boil. When it comes to a boil, I'll lower the heat and continue to cook until it's really thick. So we'll pause again, Erwin. All right, so now you can see it's coming to a boil. It's boiling on the edges. And we want to keep stirring so we don't get any lumps and it doesn't burn. So now that it's started to boil, I'm going to cook it for 2 minutes while I'm continuously whisking with the whisk. And make sure you get in the corners and the edges so that it doesn't burn on the bottom. And as you can see, it's getting thicker. All right, so we'll see how thick it actually gets when we finish whisking all of this after 2 minutes. The 2-minute timer has gone off, and you can see how beautifully thick this is now. It's a very thick sauce. I'm going to add a pinch of kosher salt and a pinch of black pepper. Give it some flavoring. We are going to top this on top of the pasta for the pastitsio. And we will put nutmeg on top of it as well. So I don't need to season this too much. We don't want that to overpower the flavor of the nutmeg. So got that turned off, and you can see how thick it now is. This is a nice thick bechamel. This is going to go into our pastitsio. So we're going to layer the pan with pasta, our meat, another layer of pasta, top it with the bechamel, and then bake it in the oven. That is our finished bechamel. We are now at the stage where we can assemble our pastitsio. So we have our bechamel topping here, and if you notice, I have saran wrap directly on the surface of it because that is to prevent it from getting a skin. It'll form a skin if it's left open to air. Here we have our ground beef sauteed. All those spices, the wonderful za'atar seasoning is in it. Onion, tomato, we have some Pam nonstick spray, which we'll put into our baking dish, nutmeg, Parmesan, and here's the pasta we already have cooked. I have a little bit of milk in case our bechamel is too thick. I can add some milk and thin it out. All right, so first thing that we are going to do, we're going to spray our pan with some Pam. You want to get the sides too, so that way it doesn't stick in the baking dish. Then we are going to layer in half of the pasta on the bottom. All right, so pasta's a bit, I did toss it with some olive oil so it would not stick. It did stick, however, so it is a little sticky, so I'm just going to use my hands. I'm going to spread it out. We're creating a layer of the pasta on the bottom, just like we did with the moussaka. We had a layer of eggplant at the bottom. Now I'm doing a layer of pasta at the bottom. Then we will cover that with our ground beef. Okay, so that's completely covering. That's about half. Now we're going to put in our ground beef. All right, now it smells wonderful. Now remember I said before, we want to remove the bay leaf. We don't want somebody to just get a piece of it and bite into it, okay? So I'm going to take the bay leaf out. That'll be discarded. And now we're going to add our ground beef. And we're going to put little dollops all around because we're going to spread it over. Make a layer. Want to use up all of the ground beef. We're making a nice generous layer of ground beef, spreading it over all of the pasta. Again, if you don't have Pam or canola or non-stick spray, you can use olive oil and brush it up the sides of the pan. Just drizzle in about a tablespoon, spread it all over the bottom and then up the sides. That'll help. I'm using the wooden spoon to spoon this into the pan and spread it. You want to cover every little bit. I got this little spot right here in the corner. Let's make sure that's covered. Great. And that corner, we get every tiny little bit in. You don't want to waste anything. Waste, it costs money, and we don't have a lot of money in this world to waste right now. So let's save every little bit and not waste anything. Okay, our pot is completely empty. Let's get every little bit. That one piece of pasta is sticking up. Let's get some stuff over it. And right here, another little spot. Okay, so that is our layer of meat, our ground beef. And now we're going to top it with our another layer of the noodles. So again, we want to spread those out. Hopefully we have enough. I eyeballed it as half, so hopefully I didn't. And when you know it, the phone's ringing, so I got to pause. Get all the pasta over. And then on top of the pasta, we're going to put the bechamel sauce. So let's get this spread out. That smells great. There we go. Spread all the pasta over. Make sure there's a layer covering the whole thing. Okay, you can see my hands, that's all the olive oil I tossed the pasta with. All right, so that's good. I'm gonna get these put aside. I'm gonna pause for a second, wash my hands, and come back and make the bechamel. All right, so we're gonna remove the plastic from it. Okay, and you can see it's really thickened. It's very thick. See that? So that is too thick to pour over the top, so we do need to thin it a little bit. So we are going to add some milk. We're just going to pour some in and whisk it in until it thins. So I'm just pouring some in. I'm eyeballing it. Okay, we want to thin it out so we can pour it over the top of the pasta. So I don't want all those lumps, so I do have to whisk it vigorously to get those lumps out. And it's a bit thinner, but still probably not completely what I want. I do want a thinner consistency to drizzle over the pasta and go down in between it. I'll just put a little more. Okay, need a ladle to ladle it over the top. So here's our ladle. So listen, I'm showing you where everything is in this kitchen. So you guys, when we do come into the kitchen, sorry, I was wearing my mask while I'm trying to do the video, silly me. When we do come into the kitchen, I hope you all remember where everything is, okay? Throughout the videos, I keep showing you where I'm getting my tools and ingredients also. So hopefully when you finally get into the kitchen, we will be able to start making stuff right away because you'll know where it goes. All right, so let's put that aside. And I'm gonna take the ladle. Let's see the consistency. Ooh, that looks like it's thin enough to go over. I'm gonna ladle this on top. I hope it's not too thin. Anyhow, ooh, beautiful. All right, we're gonna spoon this over the top of the pasta. This is going to cook in the oven, 350 degrees. And then it'll make a nice topping. So let's double check. 350 degrees for 45 minutes. I better get this in the oven right away. All right, so after I spoon the bechamel on top, I'm going to sprinkle on Parmesan cheese. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it, I don't have a measured amount, I'm just gonna sprinkle it how I would like it to be. So I actually love grated cheese, so I'm gonna sprinkle quite a bit. And then I'm gonna sprinkle nutmeg over the top as well. And that is that distinctive Cypriot flavor on top of our dish. We did it with the moussaka as well, and that really gives it a final kick and flavor. It makes it so interesting. All right, gotta get every little bit. Okay, we've got the bechamel all over the top, and now I'm going to generously sprinkle the Parmesan cheese on top. Get every little bit. Don't want to leave an empty spot without any cheese. That's where all the flavor is. Yummy, yummy. All right, so that's a good coating. All right, there we go. Now, our sprinkling of nutmeg. Okay. This will give it a great flavor. Okay, nutmeg is pretty strong. That's probably good. I don't want to overdo it. And then we're going into the oven. We have the oven at 350. It's been preheated, and we're gonna put it in. So this is kind of heavy. I need 2 hands. So 45 minutes from now, I'll be able to take it out and show you what it looks like when it's finished. All right, our moment of truth. It's been in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. We're looking for a golden brown color on it. And if you notice, oh, look how that's beautiful. Okay, we've got a nice golden brown color forming right on the edge. See this? That's what we're looking for. You could leave it in a couple minutes more to make sure it's completely golden brown on the other side too, or rotate it in the oven. But I like to take it out. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to burn it. I always like to err on the side of caution, especially since I'm not eating this now. We're not serving it now. So we want to be able to reheat it. So if we're going to reheat it, we want to be able to leave it a little on the underdone side, okay? So that is our pastitsio. It is layers of noodles with our beef, seasoned with our za'atar seasoning, another layer of the noodles covered with the bechamel sauce, Parmesan, and sprinkled with nutmeg. So I hope you enjoy. Bon appetit. Thanks.